Okay, so like, do I acknowledge the copy intro or do I not? Was it good? I haven't put it together yet, and yeah, we'll see. Tons of creators do copy intros and they're like always good. So like, if mine is at least a little bit okay, I'm leaning on a bit of the correlation here. Maybe that means I'm just a little bit of an okay creator. Either that or it'll totally cripple my YouTube channel. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, hi, my name is julien and I'm an artist. And today I thought it would be kind of fun, the first video of the new year, 2021, I thought it would be kind of interesting to go back and analyze kind of my artistry over the last year, 2020. I want to also talk about some of the people, creatives that I drew the biggest inspiration from over the last year. And then at the end of the video, maybe talk a little bit about what my creative ambitions are for 2021. Let's get started. So if you don't know me, or if you're brand new to the channel, and there have been a number of new people coming in over the last couple of weeks, so hello. I'm an artist, but not like a singularly specific type of artist. My artistry is kind of all encompassing. I will sort of fearlessly pursue anything that I feel creatively drawn to do or to work on, which is awesome. I would definitely recommend it. Being interested in so many different avenues of art over time, I've noticed that there always tends to be like a vein or an aspect of my artistry that stands just above the rest. So for example, when I lived in New York City, I bounced around quite a bit. I focused on acting, then writing, then singing, then acting again for a hot minute, then directing and filmmaking, and then writing and producing, and now in 2020, since coming out of New York over the last summer, I would say that I've been heavily focused on photography and editing, which is very exciting. So photography, yeah, this has been a bit of a wild one for me, and I've learned quite a lot over the last year about it, quite a lot. I purchased a new camera, the one that I'm filming on, almost 2 years ago now, thinking that I would use it primarily for like the filmmaking side of things, and it's been great for that. I've put out some great videos on this channel now, even over just the past year, that I'm very proud of. But yes, photography, it surprised me a little bit. Early on, when I was still experimenting with it, I didn't think I was any good at it. So when I bought my new camera, I had like no photography in mind for it at all. I was like, this is my new filming camera and that's it. So when things slowed down in New York City, early on in 2020, sort of when the pandemic first started to hit the fan over there, I had a bunch of film projects and stuff in progress that just fell through. And I was kind of just left with the things that I could only do solo, which at the time was just kind of writing and photography. And I had already been doing a bunch of writing, so I thought maybe this is a good opportunity for me to take photography pretty seriously for a while, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. So really quick, let's just take a look at some of the photos from early this year and compare them to shots that I took even just a few days ago. Let's just pick 3 of each. So okay, so this first image here, this is still in New York. I did this one in black and white because at the time I really didn't know what else to fiddle with as far as editing goes, except for like brightness and contrast. And those are usually typically the 2 first things that you start playing around with, but I was nervous to go outside of that at all. So I just made the photo black and white, and those are like the only 2 sliders I was adjusting here. Looking back, it's not a bad photo. I think I picked an interesting subject as a mailman. It is against like a hedge. I think it's an okay shot, but yeah, I made it black and white because I was afraid at the time to experiment with any color at all. Do I think it turned out? Yeah, it's okay. The second photo here is an example of not knowing which lens to use. Still to this day, the 2 primary lenses that I use is like a 28-70 and an 85mm. And I think I was using the 85mm for this shot, which I know now is maybe a little bit too close for capturing this kind of thing. If I were to change anything about the way that I approach taking this photograph, it would be to use a wider angle lens. There's just a lot of stuff that you're missing in this photo. I wish I could have gotten more of the seat and the dashboard and the steering wheel in there. Yeah, this is just, yeah, equipment. This is me not knowing how to use equipment. So this last photo here, this was just taken just over the summer, so only a few months ago, but this is an example of me really starting to kind of experiment with colors. Up until this point, I had been kind of just dragging and dropping like presets from other creators and stuff like that, and I was learning quite a lot by doing that, but I hadn't really ventured and gone off and tried anything from scratch myself until this. And in fact, I remember this was a photograph that I think I kept returning to, and I think there's like 7 or 8 different versions of this photograph somewhere on a hard drive because I just always felt like I wasn't done with it. And I think that's because I just didn't know how to work properly with all of the tools in Lightroom at the time. I think it's safe to say also that I was taking in a lot of inspiration from a lot of different people that I was watching at the time. I didn't quite know what my style was, so I think I just had so many different people and different styles in my mind. I just tried to replicate like all of them at once, and I think I shot myself in the foot with this one. Yeah, looking back, I would do it differently. Okay, so now let's take a look at 3 different photos that I've just taken within the last couple of weeks. Okay, so this first photo here is arguably hilarious. Yeah, this is just a deer, he's chilling. I think this is a good example of me really understanding how to isolate subjects. I think one of the notable things that I did with this photo, I think at the time the sky was extremely overcast and it was really cloudy and dark, but I think I've gone in and I'm brightened up the top third of this photo in post. I think it's given a lot more life to the photo than it was normally. Yeah, I think this is a great photo. I think the colors are just right. There's some small things I would even change about it, and I only took it a couple of weeks ago, but I think this is a great improvement from the last 3. Next up is this shot. I posted this a couple of days ago and it's been getting some really great reception. I think this shot is a good example of me starting to understand how to tell a story with a photograph, if that makes sense. There's something sort of mysterious and whimsical about this shot, and yeah, I definitely didn't have that even just a couple of months ago. I think this is something that I'm starting to see more of with my intentions behind photographs, and it's great progress. Yeah, it's great. And this last one here is just phenomenal, in my opinion, and I'm not afraid to say that because it's a wonderful shot. I actually submitted this shot to a nationwide photo contest. We'll see how it does. I just think everything about this photo is working. It's amazing. I think the tones are just subtle enough. The dark areas of the image are just dark enough. You can still see a little bit of it. The way that it transitions from dark to light, but it doesn't look unnatural. You know, I think this photo came down to timing. And that's something that I've been a lot better at, you know, whether it's just getting out at certain hours of the day or being more ambitious with going out and shooting photos. I think timing plays into photography a lot, and that's a lesson I keep learning over and over again. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's noticeable growth here, which is like so cool. And the equipment hasn't changed much. I have. Like, the growth and progress that I'm routinely obsessed with finding and analyzing, it's here. It's awesome. Another thing that I've been learning over this last year, or rather been more aware of, because it's very present in photography in particular, you very rarely get better and better and better and have nobody else except yourself to thank for it. Like, I'm an entirely self-taught photographer and editor, but I'm not without influence and inspiration. It would be silly of me to say that I don't have those things. It's instrumental. So I'm going to lay out for you really quick a list of maybe 9 or 10 photographers that I'm following right now on Instagram. I'll link them all in the description down below as well. And I'm doing this, transparency isn't quite the right word. It's just that nobody gets good because they're good. You know? There's gotta be someone or something that you're chasing that's way up here. It's the very reason you got into this field in the first place. It's those things that are the true challenge. Your journey as an artist is your constant effort to close that gap, to get as close as you can to that thing. For me, I think existing somewhere between these 10 people over the course of the last year is what I've been after. My style exists somewhere here. I've had some really great ideas and drawn loads of inspiration from a lot of the work from these people. So here they are, right out in the open, in no particular order. Mats Ba, Sean Tucker, Chris Henry, With Luke, Shreddin' Kevin, Fabian.Huebner, Hello Emily, julien.tabet, Join Ollie, and Visuals of Julius. You'll notice that some of these creators have absolutely massive followings and others not so much. I enjoy the work first. The numbers are a little less important to me, so as a result, I think I have a really nice, healthy variety here. So thank you so much. If any of you guys are watching, thank you for absolutely crushing it this year. You have helped me become a better artist. So 2020, an undeniable year of complete insanity. But you know, I think I did a pretty good job of holding it together. I was talking with a close friend of mine a few days ago, and they were talking about how difficult it was for them to get back into their own creativity this year. And yeah, I, probably a metric ton of other artists as well, can definitely relate to that. Probably the first 4 to 5 months of this year, I basically did nothing. I'm hoping that this is true for other people, so please let me know if it is. But for whatever reason, when I first started feeling creative again, I just ran with it, like a full tilt sprint, and I'm still running. It's kind of crazy. Despite everything that happened last year, I feel so creatively driven. Like, I'm working on something every day, and I'm not sure if I can say that about any other year. So like, 2020 was good for me? That can't be right. What did you create in 2020? Let me know, I'd love to check it out. Okay, so creative momentum is high, but like, where would I like to see that momentum carry me this year? Okay, so first off, photography has been wildly fun and engaging and busy and fulfilling and all of that, but will 2021 just be another year for photography? No, I've got some ideas. I've got some stuff cooking. Okay, so with photography, up until this point, it's just been a lot of going out and shooting by myself with the singular purpose of posting my images to Instagram, maybe selling a few prints. This year, I think I can push that even further. Now that I'm at a point where I can comfortably call myself a photographer, I'm thinking like photography projects, like at least one big one with like a proper exhibition. I'd also love to incorporate some client work, like some product or lifestyle photography, something like that. Another thing for this year for me, I think it's gonna be film. I would really love for film to sort of compete for that top spot right up there alongside photography. I've got some ideas and projects and short films that I absolutely think that I'm ready for this year, guys. I've spent a lot of time watching, analyzing, and learning as much as I can about filmmaking, but this year, I think the next step is practical and hands-on. I'll wrap this up here and also just kind of mention that I think acting and voiceover work is kind of up there on the list for me this year. I think it could do with a bit of a freshening up. With my wife and I kind of knowing already that our next move is probably gonna be towards LA, although I do kind of have some of that stuff under my belt already, I think it would be wise to have that extra footing when that move happens. That whole world kind of like imploded last year, but it's already on its way back. And so, yeah, I'm thinking me too. Okay, yeah, so I actually kind of despise the whole New Year's resolution kind of thing. That's kind of why I pushed off this video just a little bit. I prefer to think of things as being momentous. So these things are really just things that I'm already doing, just kind of cranked up a notch. Keeping it consistent, keeping things rolling, and keeping it challenging. Challenging is the important bit. Where will your creative ambitions take you in 2021? Let me know in those comments down below. Don't forget to like this video if you had a good time, and please do make sure that you're subscribed. I live stream every week right here on this channel, and I would just hate for you to miss out. Happy New Year, everybody. Make it a good one. Bye.